All right, let's just start the podcast.
Charlie's in a bad mood. I can tell.
I'm not in a bad mood. I'm just like,
Right.
you know what I mean?
But it's funny. It's funny that we put up a merch store and we're selling buttons for $3 and didn't realize that people were seeing bills for $93. That is fun. That's funny to address.
I think it's kind of funny.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, I think what people need to understand is if you are a small, like our operation is not big. It's we're starting merch store, right? Where it's a small thing right now. So we don't have a warehouse in another country. What most companies would do is they just wouldn't ship you anything at all. You wouldn't even have the choice. At least with us, you have the option. If you want to pay $90.
We're the good guys.
That's what I'm saying.
We're just three young, upstart, handsome guys.
Just trying to
start a small business.
Right. Just three good-looking guys and a good-looking woman. Trying a very good-looking group of people. Just trying to...
So young. We don't know the rules of customs.
No, we haven't learned them yet because we're so young and good looking.
Yes.
And when you're good looking, you don't have to know that many things because you get by just on your looks as we have. And so we're learning these things now because we realize we got to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. You know what I mean? Because these looks aren't going to last forever. Let's take advantage of it while we're young.
We'll learn about international tariff law at some point in our careers, but we're just getting started.
Okay.
Yes, but we'll wait till we're ugly. But we decided not to wait. And now we're paying the price.
Yeah.
Well, we're not paying the price. They are.
Somebody else is paying the price.
People are paying the price.
By the way, I don't even have a pen.
You
I
want
just
a
want
pen?
to point that out. I don't have any pens. I don't have a mug.
I'll get
I
you some.
got a couple
You got a mug
shirts.
sitting right in front of you, jackass.
Listen, pal, that was handed to me as a prop. Okay?
I can get it to you, but it'll cost $90 for me to drive it to your house.
He'll pay it.
I'll pay it.
He's rich.
All right, I'll get you some merch.
He's rich.
Rob needed a large T-shirt, which he wanted me to.
I did. Thank you for saying that on the
podcast.
Yeah.
The mediums are a little small.
You're exploding out of the medium?
Yeah, a little tight.
Yeah. What's
Did
going
you
on
find
there?
that the medium fit?
Have you?
I have not tried.
Yeah, the medium fit me, but you've always had big arms, which, by the way, God bless you. I remember early on, like before we started doing the show, you and I used to every once in a while we'd go work out at the YMCA.
Sure.
The
Young Men's Christian Association.
Yeah, yeah. In West Hollywood, sometimes we'd play racquetball, but sometimes we'd lift weights. And I remember I'd be over there doing arms because I've always had skinny arms. I have a very hard time building my arms. And you wouldn't do arms at all because your whole thing was like, they'll get too big.
Bro, you definitely did arms. I remember
my arms would get too big.
Arms
he does them now,
bro. You had a whole technique for how to do those curls.
He does them now, but back then he didn't want his arms to get too big.
I did arms with you in the Y.
You did arms with him in the Y?
Oh, yeah,
you did
arms.
arms with me. That's because you've got big arms too. He didn't want to make me feel bad. I appreciate that, buddy.
You got it, buddy.
Thanks, pal.
I definitely did. I definitely rocked some arms with you in the Y.
Did you? And what year are we talking about? Early to the pre-Sunny?
Oh yeah, pre-Sunny. And I remember it was a strength of yours. You
big arms.
The chest game was standard, but the arm game was exceptional. I was like, look at the arm game on this
You also
guy.
never did abs back in the day. Never did abs. You were like
that was what the coffee and cigarettes were for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what the glamour muscle phrase came from too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
I guess abs would be considered glamour muscles.
Abs would, and so would buys and tries. But I suspect maybe you saw my body and you were like, you know what? I'll do chest with this guy and make him feel good about himself. I always had a pretty good
Maybe
chest.
you just wanted to have the body that would look good on a billboard.
Oh, great
yeah,
segue.
that's a good transition
Thank you,
into the
Charlie.
episode.
You guys want to talk
it.
about the episode? I want to talk about arms and chests.
Here's the thing about this episode. This is not an episode you can see on TV.
No longer available.
That's
Yeah,
true.
no longer
Talk
available.
about that?
Yeah.
It's a tough thing to talk about. It's a tough thing to talk about, but maybe.
It's a tough thing to talk about without getting heavy and then going into a defensive stance on
But it's also
what is
a
satire and what isn't.
Kind of an odd thing not to address, right?
Yeah.
To be like, we're going to talk about an episode and the fans can't watch it at home.
It's hard for me to look at that episode and look at Mac's behavior, right, which is insanely misogynistic.
Yeah.
And then to say, well, that is appropriate because we're suggesting that these are terrible characters and it's a show that is taking a satirical look at our culture. And then say, well, that's okay to do, but certain things are not okay to do.
Here's my honest feeling about it. I think these things are complex, and I don't think that it does the audience a service to take away their ability to look at a piece of what you want to call it, art or storytelling or whatever it is from the past, to remove the ability to let the audience sort of break it down for themselves. I don't think is positive. I think go ahead and put a disclaimer on there and be like, look, there's some humor in this that could be offensive. So tread lightly, but like, I don't know.
But even that, so you'd have to put that in front of every episode.
Yeah.
Go ahead then. Fine.
But that's what the rating system is. TVMA. Are you mature enough to watch this, or are you a child?
Or your child, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
That's what TVMA is, or TV-14. It's to suggest that if you're an adult, you have the ability to discern what and take away what you are going to take away.
We'll say
from,
that the reason that this is down is because of the two characters that Caitlin plays.
that D plays. That is an important distinction.
Yeah, characters that D plays, right. Yes, that is.
That is an important distinction. Yeah,
Yeah, it
that,
is.
like
It is, yeah.
that
Yeah.
D is trying to become a YouTube sensation, and she's doing characters that she thinks would pop on Saturday Night Live.
Mm-hmm.
And I specifically refer to them, certainly the second one, as racist. So it's not like the show is not
No, the joke,
aware of it.
it's satire. That's what it is. You know what I mean?
The joke is that Sweet D is a very ignorant person.
That's right.
And is unaware of the impact of
That's
this.
what the joke is supposed to be.
Yes.
It's difficult because I could sit here and defend it, with that logic, right? Because it's a person who is, doesn't realize how, ignorant and racist they're being.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the joke.
That is the show.
And that is the show.
And speaking of the show, from this episode, I'd like to start by talking about SU and your A's. Don't wear a C and J all over your B's.
So
I'll tell you what S is. It's screw.
screw you. Okay, right. I was thinking sex you, but you're probably right.
Yeah.
Don't wear a condom?
Don't wear a condom.
Screw you
And jizz all over your butts.
ass. Don't wear a
Yeah.
condom and jizz all over your butts.
And
Yes.
jizz all over your butts.
We
That's what it
went
is.
for
Yeah.
FU in the A, but I believe that was the standards and practices note.
Yes.
You can't say F you in the A?
You can't say
couldn't-
F you.
Yeah.
You couldn't.
I
then.
think you
You
still
can't say
can't
F you in the A. You can do racist stereotype characters.
That's right. That was fun.
At
yes.
the time. At the time.
Yes.
Later, dudes. SU in your A's. Don't wear a C and J all over your B's.
That's a classic Charlie line that gets quoted a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty
Sure.
great one.
Sure.
Yeah. SU in the A. What is it again?
SU in your A's.
Don't wear
Don't
A's.
wear a C.
Don't wear a
all over
C
the
and J
B's.
all over your B's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a parting line,
funny.
that's
I'm
pretty
46.
good.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That could be carved on a tombstone of somebody. I mean, that could just be.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
we'll just, that'll be on your tombstone, buddy.
Won't be up to me. I'll be dead. So
Yeah.
You know.
I don't
Don't
give a
have
shit.
any
I'm dirt.
opinions.
I'm not dead. Do what you want.
Hey, I'm ash.
I'm Ash, baby.
Throw me in the ocean.
Yeah. Danny, I think we first started getting his hair going out in this episode. We started pulling it out a little bit.
He started getting a little wilder.
Yeah, he's
and-
got the bigger glasses in this season, which is
right.
Thick
stayed.
frames. Yeah.
First time we ever had TJ on the
TJ
show.
Oben.
Yep.
Rex.
Playing Rex. Super funny guy.
Great
An
bod.
actor and a bodybuilder. I'm not sure what he considers himself primarily, although I feel like he's I follow him on
He's both,
Instagram.
right? He
He's
does both.
super into I feel like he's even more into bodybuilding now than he was back then. Because he's what you see in this episode times
He's in that
15.
world.
Yeah.
He's bigger.
He's bigger. He's more vascular. He's even more cut. The man, if he has any body fat at all, I don't know where it went. I don't know where it is. And I worry for him because that's you got to have some
You
fat.
gotta have a little bit.
Gotta have a little bit.
Otherwise, you're eating your organs.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You got to burn
the
something.
body's eating all the fat, and it's like, well, where else is there fat? This is, surrounding my vital organs.
Yeah, around the heart.
I'll eat those too.
You referred to Rex's bird that just won't quit.
Yeah.
Did you guys realize that bird had become a word that you can't apply to? Now that, because by this point it's very much applied to D,
To D, yeah.
but you're still using it.
Bird is a word to describe a phallus that was
but I don't
from
that's-
Philadelphia.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Very
is that
specifically from Philadelphia.
specifically a Philadelphia thing? Because I'd never
Very
heard that
specifically
before.
the northeast part of Philadelphia.
Yeah, I don't think I'd heard it before that episode.
No. And that was in the script. There's a funny blooper from that. That is a very genuine reaction from me, because you decided in one take, instead of saying bird, you said there's a sweaty hog in those pants.
Oh.
And you didn't tell me you were going to say it. Fair enough. I'd never heard you use that term before. I'd never heard that term used, period.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you see me laugh, that's the first time. That's me hearing that for the first time. That's not me hearing a line that we wrote and laughing. That's me hearing it for the first time and breaking.
I bet you if you pop those jeans off, you're gonna find a sweaty hog that won't quit either. Come on.
You know what's interesting about this episode? So we're watching it and, we're commenting on reality shows, which are really just starting to hit their stride, right? With whether it's the Fear Factor or it's
America's Next Top Model.
Top Model, or what's the one, the dating one, The Bachelor.
The Bachelor.
Right, we're hitting all those, but we're also kind of hitting YouTube culture.
Yeah.
Which we're like, oh, if you're Chocolate Rain or the woman who was stomping and falling on the grapes, like you're getting a bunch of followers on that and you think that's fame or whatever. I think we're being a little bit.
Oh, yeah. We're having to go at people who want to become famous just for being who they are. Just for being who they are.
From that time to now, like that has become the norm. Like that's is mainstream sort of awareness of people is via what they're doing on the internet, whether it's TikTok or.
And I've taken a little bit of a turn on that. Like I really used to, I'll admit, like kind of snub my nose at like, Instagram influencers or anything like that. But I've kind of taken a little bit of turn where I'm like, hey.
Yeah, they had a platform. People use their platform, and
it's empowering. You don't have to go to one of the studios to fund something or one of the
it's decentralizing
major media. Yeah, it's incredible. It just empowers people to build whatever they want.
And I don't have to like what they're selling or what they're doing. I mean, there's plenty of that on TV too. There's a lot of people who don't like our show. They don't like what we're selling either.
Sure.
So you know what I mean? They're doing the same thing. They took the middleman out. They took the studios and the networks out, and they were like, I can reach an audience directly with what I think is interesting and worthy of, talking about. And I've realized now that like, that's pretty fucking smart. They were way smarter than I was. I didn't figure that shit out. I didn't see a future in that. I just thought like, wow, what a really pathetic like way to try to become famous. I'll fully admit that I was like judgmental about it.
Then there were people who sort of used that tool with their sort of mainstream fame and used it really well. The first guy I remember kind of like going on a tear with that was Dane Cook, who was doing his stand-up, but he was like huge on MySpace. Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah.
MySpace.
Yeah.
And then, like The Rock and Kevin Hart, these guys had like just giant internet followings that matched their, and now everyone's chasing it, right? Like everyone's like, well, I guess got to have some.
But then there were the people that figured out like, why don't I become famous first? Instead of doing something and becoming famous for that thing that I do, let me just go ahead and become famous first, and then I'll sell products.
Sing a song, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
which is like fucking smart.
Yeah.
I think there's been a change too, because I remember the earliest days of viral videos, it felt like everyone wasn't made to go viral. It was just a clip of a news show like the woman stomping grapes or the chocolate rain thing, which wasn't supposed to be seen by millions of people, but then it just like caught fire. But now people are like, they kind of have cracked the code of, oh, how do I make something that will go viral? Right. But I remember there were a lot of years like working on TV shows where the like marketing, the execs or whatever would come in and be like, we'd love you guys to make a viral video. And we're like, yeah, well,
that's it. You can't. No, it's
just
like
put viralness in it. You know,
I mean that grape, right? Put a virus in it. That grape video was one of the first internet YouTube, or actually, I think even before YouTube, that was like making the rounds on like certain like
EBaums World.
EBaums World.
That's right.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Good memory. That's exactly where I saw it. That and the guy who was auditioning for something with nunchucks and then did a backflip and landed on his face and got up and tried to keep going, fell backwards and like into the backdrop or whatever.
Yeah.
Like there were just a handful of those like things.
And then YouTube was like the history of the dance, right? Like wasn't there a guy
oh
like,
my God.
did a bunch of dance, and that was the first video that just kept
that like broke a million. Like it was like huge. Yeah. You're
Charlie
right.
Bit my finger.
Charlie Bit My Finger was also like a
those
huge,
kids are probably
huge,
like in their mid 30s.
Yeah, for sure. But the grape stomping thing, I mean, really all those were America's Funniest Home Videos without the fucking host.
Yeah.
You know, it was and you get to see the whole thing instead of seeing like a tiny little clip of it, you know, and somebody like making a stupid comment about it. You get to just watch the thing raw.
Yeah.
Yeah. That grape one is great, by the way. We should put that on the podcast.
I'm going to stick it in. Yeah.
I love that video.
Nobody owns that anymore. Fun. It's owned by culture. I feel like you can just have that now.
Maybe. These buckets are filled with grapes. What kind of grapes? These are filled with Chamberson grapes, and the winner this Saturday who's stomping music, eating international foods, having wine tours and tastings, vineyard tours, seminars, arts and crafts. It's a lot of fun, a whole day. Stop. Oh, I can't. Stop. I can't breathe. Stop.
I wonder where that lady is. Let's find out where that lady is.
Oh, I'll look it up.
They put a little Chiron. She passed and
she died from grape exposure.
Yeah. I mean, we are laughing at her pain. I mean, she fell down and is in
hard.
She's crying for help.
She's in exceptional pain.
Help. Oh God. Well, no, you're laughing at the fact that she tries to cheat, right?
Yeah.
So they're doing the thing, and then she goes, "Stop!" And the other woman stops, and then she starts being a little sneaky and trying to do it fast because they're having a race to see who can like get the most wine from stomping her grapes. She falls out of the bucket. And then,
fucking cheater. You're
laughing at justice.
You're laughing at
the pain
her.
of justice.
But it does. I mean, she. Like you could, it's totally off. I'm glad it's off camera because it's very possible that she lost like quite a few teeth. Because I mean, she goes down and it almost seems like she tips forward enough to where she might like landed on her face.
Yeah. I know.
First. But it is also the sound of someone who got the wind knocked out of themselves, right? Yeah. So. Yeah.
She gave an interview with a radio program where she said, "Am I embarrassed that I fell? Of course. I also broke a couple ribs. Thanks for asking. I had to spend a few weeks in the hospital under observation. I suffered quite a bit for an honest mistake, a momentary lapse in concentration, and now I'm trying to move on."
You fucking bitch. That was not an honest mistake. It was a dishonest mistake.
Well.
You fucking bitch.
Wow. Now, hold on a second.
We got to cut this whole episode, man.
Yeah, this is great.
Are you kidding me? This is great. What are your plans for the rest of the summer? I mean, we're sort of at the halfway mark here.
Halfway. We got like a month left. We're deep in the third quarter, buddy.
Well, look, regardless of how long we have left, the key to summer is finding as much free time as possible to enjoy getaways, you know? So enjoy some cookouts, time at the pool, trying desperately to keep your houseplants alive.
That's right. And if you're a business owner, the last thing you'll want to do is spend time sorting through tons of unqualified candidates' resumes.
And that's hard to do while running the grill or laying out on the beach.
Well, that's why you need ZipRecruiter to find great candidates. You know, they do the work for you. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/sunny.
Well, ZipRecruiter uses its powerful technology to find and match the right candidates to your job. Then you can review these recommended candidates and directly invite your top choices to apply.
You guys know that 4 out of 5 employers on ZipRecruiter get a high-quality candidate on the first day? That's actually true. That could be you.
So soak up all that summer has to offer and let ZipRecruiter do the work. Ready for the URL? Are you guys? Are you ready? It's ZipRecruiter.com/sunny. That's where you can try it for free.
Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/sunny. SUNNY.
ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
I gotta say, I'm feeling really rested today. I am feeling rested, and I have a hunch as to why.
Are you going to tell us or do we have to guess?
Yeah, I want you to guess.
It's because of your Helix mattress.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah. They really do make some standout mattresses, I got to say. I've got their Birch organic line. Man, let me tell you, it's a huge upgrade over what I used to have.
Helix mattresses are also great for spinal alignment to prevent aches and pains. And they even have Helix Plus for our plus size kings and queens.
Kings for our kings and queens for our queens.
They also have a 10-year warranty, and you get to try them out for 100 nights risk-free. So they'll even come to your house and pick them up if you don't love them. But let's be real. You will love them.
You don't want to take our word for it because we're morons. Take the words of GQ and Wired magazines, who named Helix the #1 best overall mattress of 2021. In addition to the word of leading chiropractors and doctors of sleep medicine.
And guys, right now, Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/sunny.
So get on it. Get on the order. Get on the bed. That is helixsleep.com/sunny.
Sunny.
I don't remember EBaums World.
I totally remember EBaums World. It was like, I wonder if, does EBaums World still exist? Is that still a thing? It
I
was
also
like
remember it wasn't really when we started watching it wasn't real-time streaming. You'd have to almost like LimeWire, where you'd have to download.
LimeWire.
You'd have to like download the short videos.
You couldn't stream it. You couldn't just click on a video and stream. I think you could.
Yeah, but it was like only like really short clips, and then others you had to like
take a while to download it. Yeah,
but it was what was EBaums? Was it always just a place to because then College Humor came along and became a forum to post like comedic videos and stuff like that.
Was that the Will Ferrell one?
No, that was Funny or Die.
Funny or Die, right? Yeah.
I'm not sure who started. Well, actually, I do know that Ricky Van Veen, who produced Coffee Town, the movie that I did, he was one of the founders of College Humor, because that was a College Humor movie. It's the only feature movie they ever made.
That's kind of interesting. What internet things have endured, like Reddit. Like you look at like the sort of platform of Reddit, and it seems very kind of basic.
In its design, very basic,
behind the times. But it's Twitter.
I think that Reddit works.
Keep naming them.
Name things.
There's Instagram. I guess there's TikTok. What do the kids do now?
Yeah,
what's TikTok,
baby?
I think that's what people like about Reddit, though. I mean, and again, I don't really know. It's one of the things I like about Reddit is it's just like it's not about like the design of the page is very, very basic, but in a way it's great. It makes it easier to look for because it's less about the page itself and more about what you can find on there and what people are posting. And so you're really just scrolling through posts. But I like Reddit. I don't use it all that often, but it's pretty fun to just scroll through.
Meg, you use Reddit.
I do. I'm on Reddit. Yeah.
You are?
And I go to the Sunny subreddit all the time and I engage on the Sunny
I don't know
subreddit.
how to use it. Like, I don't.
Oh, it's easy. It's just like a message board. Like you just hit reply and then you can type right in.
But you have to like have a sign in, I guess. And
yeah, I got into Reddit like a while ago. I guess it was when I was still working on Community, and we had like a massive subreddit on Community, and I convinced them to do an AMA, Ask Me Anything.
Yeah.
And that went like pretty big. So then, I don't know, but actually weirdly enough, separately, I took a photo once of my sister's now ex-husband's dog and posing underneath a painting of itself. The dog's name was Delmar, and there's a picture I took of it posing underneath the painting of itself. And put that on Twitter, and somebody took it and put it up on Reddit, and then that went viral. It got like millions of hits.
What?
Yeah. To the point where then, as a joke, I got my sister a phone case that had this picture on it, and she would get like stopped by people, and they were like, "Oh, I've seen that dog." So that was like my little viral moment, I guess, of something.
When you're making comments on Reddit, do people know it's you?
Yeah, because I have my username.
Okay.
And so, yeah. So like when the shipping thing happened, I went on Reddit and I was like, hey guys, like, here's the thing. I don't know what I'm doing. And I literally wrote that. I was like, I'm a comedy writer. I'm producing this podcast for the first time. So I'm not trying to rip you off. I just am a human who makes mistakes. And they actually responded to it like really well. And of course they were immediately, because this is what happens whenever you respond to someone's outrage. They're all like, oh no, we love you. We're so sorry.
That's exactly
like,
right. No, because if you're contrite and you're like, sorry, I'm just a person in the world.
It's fine though, but like outrage, like, that's a specific thing, right? That's a sales thing, pricing mistake. So that makes it a little bit more sense to engage with the fans and say, hey, sorry, this is, but like, for however many thousands of people write their comments on the internet, there's millions more that never do, right? So you might be addressing, the smallest percentage of outraged people who don't like your Mythic Quest, right? They like, we hate this episode. We think it was terrible and then you take time, you almost like give too much credit to their outrage and then discredit all the other people who weren't outraged. Sometimes I feel like, like engaging in the comments or whatever is like, okay, if you did a performance on Broadway, the year's 1972, right? And then you put on a costume, went into the lobby and heard every single person's opinion about the play. Mm-hmm. That is not the gig. The gig is you come out, curtain goes up, you sing and dance, you say your lines, curtain goes down, you're done. Maybe you shake someone's hand outside or you sign an autograph, but the gig is not to then go person to person. Tell me what you thought of the performance. What did you think of the performance? Are you happy? Oh, you're outraged? Oh my God, let me explain to you why this is this way. Like
also, if you've ever...
That's not what the process is.
If you've ever sat in on a focus group, you know that if you ask people to have an opinion, they'll come up with one.
Sure.
And sometimes it's not their natural opinion. It's like that they want to have a strong take on something.
Imagine what Sunny would have been if we poured through focus groups trying to make the show.
Did you ever focus group the show?
No, they never. No, I think they knew better than to try and do that. And FX is, I mean, I think, I don't know, do they do that with any of their shows? Or do they just trust their own tastes? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't ever do it.
I don't think they do focus groups.
Wouldn't
Probably not, yeah. Well, I think there's a value to showing an audience something, right? Like you're cutting together a show or a movie and you screen it in front of an audience.
But that's for you.
That's for
so
you.
That you can gauge the reaction.
And you feel the air go out of the room for a section. Right. You're like, oh, maybe I need to tighten this up or like.
But it's also like, when you see something that you made in front of an audience, even if you've been in the editing room for a year editing that thing, the first time you see it in front of an audience, whether you're gauging people's reactions or not, you're suddenly able to be a little bit more objective about it. I don't know what that is. I don't know. It's because just the awareness that other people are watching it suddenly puts you in the same place as the audience, and you see things that you didn't notice even though you've been in the editing room for a year. I think that's an interesting phenomena. Like I've always felt that anytime I've ever watched something.
Well, it's because if you're painting a picture, you know every stroke. You know how that tree got made, and you're looking at the tree for all its parts, right? Mm-hmm. So you're like, oh, okay, the trunk. Oh, I did that little bit of sunlight on the trunk, and so that's really making that seem more 3-dimensional. And then but you haven't like hung it on a wall, walked around the block, and then come in and looked at it with a room full of people. Yeah. And then it's a different thing. Now you're looking at the painting for the experience of the painting itself as opposed to the process of making it.
Yeah.
So there's there's a weird removal.
Did you guys do a focus group for
Mystic Quest?
Mr. Quest? No.
Mr.
Quest.
No, I probably could have worked on that title a little bit if you.
Yeah, that one. I mean, we actually could have benefited.
What was the original
Hero
title?
Quest?
And then we tried to clear
game, right?
55 titles.
Yeah, 55
and the only
titles.
one that would clear, there were 2 that cleared. Hero's Reign, spelled REIGN. Which was a weird, confusing title because, and then Mythic Quest. Those are the only ones that cleared.
You tried Mystic Quest too. We tried, didn't you?
We tried everything.
Just hard to clear.
I think you just have to make the curtain goes up and you have to sing and dance. The curtain goes down, and then it's everyone else's issue after that, right? Like,
but don't you find that like that's fine with a live performance, but like I got into doing comedy because I wanted to hear people laugh at stuff that I made and wrote, and I'm not a performer, so I didn't want it to be on stage. So it is like I find it really hard to resist looking at Twitter and Reddit and stuff about stuff that I've made because I want to know that it made somebody laugh. Like way back in the day when I was living in New York and writing for The Onion, I used to like, if I'd see somebody on the subway that was reading The Onion, I would like stand close to them just in case I might hear them laugh at something.
Of course, yeah. You're doing it for the audience and you want them to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But probably what's worse than seeing a bunch of bad comments about something that you did is seeing no comments.
That's true.
No one talking about it.
Yeah,
like
maybe.
that's almost worse. Or you're just like, oh wow, I just made a thing and no one gave a shit.
It can go either way. You can either get too caught up in everyone's negative comments or too wrapped up in the positivity that you then you lose your own objectivity about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the danger of it.
Speaking of hard criticisms to take, in this episode, Dennis thinks he's a stallion. Mm-hmm. And there's a funny scene where Mac has to break the news to him that
Yeah.
he is no longer a beefcake.
Yeah, it's a very funny performance of yours, because you really do perform it like, when you
I feel
hear
bad for you because you're not aware.
Yeah, but yes, exactly. You feel bad for him, but the very first reaction is also like, oh no, he doesn't know.
Yeah, everybody in the room knows. but he
Everybody
doesn't.
knows, and he doesn't know. I thought he knew. I thought he knew he was in decline, and now I'm gonna have to tell him. And you feel bad about it.
Yeah,
but you
but
don't.
it needs to be told.
It needs to be said,
needs to be said.
and in the clearest possible way.
Yeah, so that you don't continue to humiliate yourself.
Correct, in front of all these wonderful people. Yeah.
I
Very
think
funny.
it's very funny when your horrible characters are trying to be nice and kind to each other for like a minute and break out of that. I think that's always like a good.
Well, like when Dee says, "I know, I'm going to go do my own thing because I know you're not going to put me on this billboard." We're all agreeing with her.
Yeah.
And it's not that we think we're being nice, but we're like, "Oh yeah, no, we would no. You're absolutely right, right? You're absolutely right. We would never put you on that billboard.
Never ever.
Yeah.
Not you. No. Oh my God.
We don't even let her finish. She starts by saying, "I know what you guys are going to say," and then we don't even let her finish saying it. We need to say it.
We say
'Cause
it,
she
yeah,
brought
we
it up.
have to say
We have
it.
to say it.
Yeah. But it's all done under the auspices of like, you're right. You're right about everything that you're thinking. You're right. So in a way, it's like we're like affirming something, but in the most negative possible way, which is
I
funny.
don't remember what that volleyball was that I was throwing at her face. I mean, it must have been foam.
One of those.
No.
Soft.
Like a
Bounce.
It was like one of those
Yeah.
like little like super cheap rubber balls that you get at that's like really light.
I think it was foam. Because I think if I threw a rubber ball at her face that hard, it would
Not even a
stung
kickball.
like crazy.
I mean, one
I
of
know
those
what you're
like
talking about. Really thin
really
plastic.
thin layer
Yeah.
of rubber.
I think
balls.
foam would have hurt more.
It
I think
bounced
I'm pretty
really
sure
good. That was like the
It what?
comedy of it was it bouncing so well off.
That's
her
also what
face.
makes me think that it was one of
Yeah.
those. You know what I'm talking? You know what we're talking about? Like,
Yeah.
you get like a ball bin,
yeah.
cheap, like
Yeah,
super
it's
thin.
almost a balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
almost
what I
a
mean?
balloon. Yes,
Yeah.
so it's only slightly thicker than a balloon, really. I think that's what it was, and they painted the
Yeah, you
volleyball
might have
lines
been right.
on there. They drew them on or whatever.
And
And,
then-
then that same and then the volleyball that you have in Philly is like it doesn't have the black volleyball line. It's like a totally different
Oh, yeah.
ball.
Different props people.
Yeah.
And then you did a stunt, Glenn, of getting kicked in the nuts. Do you remember how they did that?
Yeah, I don't remember. So I remember I thought like, oh, I'll just wear a cup or whatever, and then we'll do a thing where you kick, because that's kind of.
I remember the move was to kick the inner thigh and make sure you don't.
But I actually wore some sort of a thing. I don't remember, but I do remember it was like some sort of like a thing like that, where my dick and balls were here and this thing was here, so that you could literally kick me right in the right spot, and it would never quite hit. It would never quite reach my balls, which were higher at the time than they are now.
Couldn't do that now.
Couldn't do that now. You'd have to, I'd have to wear a real. I'd have to sag those
Step
pants
on your
real
shoe
low.
and kick the ball.
But actually, you could. If you look at it though, you can see my pants are sagging like crazy because I think I had them real low,
right, to hide the
accommodate whatever that.
The ball trap.
The ball.
Yeah, whatever
Yeah, the
you-
ball saver. Are your balls lower than they're lower than they used to be, aren't they?
I have no idea. I've never measured the proximity.
You haven't been keeping track of it like you do with your kids' height on the wall.
There's like a little
I haven't
thing.
noticed that.
It's just getting lower and lower as the year. You guys don't do that?
Do balls go lower? I didn't know about this.
We also got to see you tear away pants in this and expose the same tidy whities that I think you were wearing when you were seducing Margaret
Margaret
McCoy.
Boyle, yeah, it's
Yeah.
sort of high-waisted.
Those
Yeah,
high-waisted
it's pulled up a
things.
little too high. Wearing white socks, they're also pulled up real high.
And you took a wide stance.
Yeah, I got myself into a slightly wider stance.
It's good that we knew that would be funny, right? That we weren't like, yeah, but he would want to wear, something that he thought was sexier. Like that we were just like, it's
He doesn't
just
know.
funny.
He doesn't
It's all
know.
good.
Yeah, he doesn't know, or he wasn't thinking about it, or he thinks he's so sexy that doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is what it is.
You know what? That is what it is.
I loved America's Next Top Model.
We both did. You and
Yeah,
I
know,
watched
we
it.
I watched it every
We watched the
week.
entire first season of that show. Like I would
But
come
Tyra
over
Banks,
to your
that was
place.
her show?
Tyra
Tyra
Banks.
Banks?
Yeah.
She's fierce.
Is
I
that
loved it.
It was great. It was
Great.
amazing.
What'd you like about it?
It was
I love
hilarious.
the competition. Yeah, it was really funny. Tyra Banks is amazing. It was one of those reality shows that I got into for this. Like, I wasn't into American Idol. I never really watched that back in the day, and it was on around the same time. So I don't know. It was fascinating, a fascinating look into an industry I didn't understand.
That's exactly right. It was fascinating. It was almost like, wow, I didn't know, but it was also fun to watch them try to come up with different scenarios to put the models in to make it a show. It was like, okay. And that's why we did the barnyard thing. Cause we were like, that's what they would do on America's Next Top Model. They'd be like, you're a space alien. They would just do this shit. It was like, and try to make it seem like that's something that would ever happen to you. Like, if you can't be a convincing barnyard animal, how you're never going to make it as a model. And it's like, what? What are you talking about? Like, what's that to do with anything?
It's just a competitive.
Fucking Kate Moss ever had to be a donkey? Probably not.
Probably not.
No.
You guys watching reality shows now? Or are you off reality shows?
I dip in and out. I mean, there's an argument to be made that any professional sports program that you watch is a reality show. I mean, it's the same idea. You're watching a competition amongst people, and the only reason you really care is the story behind it. And they were just really good at producing it. So,
and me and my kids and Jill, like, as a family, we watch America's Got Talent.
Okay.
So I've realized that there's some of those big competition shows that are they're a little bit more, you don't feel like you're just kind of sitting and just like that. If you're watching it as a family, it feels like an actual event. It feels like something that you're doing together.
I like the survivalist ones.
I know.
Have you been watching Alone?
Alone, I love.
I haven't seen that yet.
Alone
Is that Netflix?
Oh, it's great. It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I think it was like a Nat Geo show. And they basically drop 10 people into like a really isolated environment, but they separate them all. And then it's a last man standing or woman standing competition for who can survive in that place the longest. And they only get to bring like 10 items with them.
Yeah.
It's really good.
People are impressive. Like the structures they build are.
Yeah.
Snowflake Mountain. Did you watch it?
no, but I saw the commercial for it.
You did.
Yeah.
And you I'm sure you had the same thought. You were like, I might have to watch this. And I did watch it because I was in Ontario shooting the movie. So I had like more time to like just watch things at times, and I watched that whole damn thing. It was basically, they took a bunch of like really rich and like super entitled, like young 20 somethings or like late teens, early 20s, and basically told them that they were going to like this awesome resort to shoot like a reality show at this resort, so they thought they were all going to be like drinking and partying and in a house
And put them through hell.
and bickering and being in hot tubs and shit. And instead they dropped them off on a fucking mountaintop and they were like, survive.
That would be fun.
This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy.
I'm going to toss something out here. It might be a bit controversial, but the past few years on planet Earth have been a bit of a shit show. Right?
Yes.
Hot take. So if you're like me, or literally any human being who's alive, you might well have some pent up feelings about the times we've been through, and you got to work this stuff out.
Or say if you're struggling with grief, work, relationships, stress.
Or if you're having trouble sleeping or meeting goals, online therapy might be for you. Now, why online therapy with BetterHelp as opposed to a traditional therapist?
Well, BetterHelp offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with a licensed professional therapist, so you can get help on your time and in the privacy of wherever you choose.
It's also more affordable than traditional offline therapy. And furthermore, they have financial aid available if you need it. So, save some bucks. Save a trip to your local therapist's office. Save an uncomfortable stay in the waiting room. And try BetterHelp online today. Over 2 million people already have. Always Sunny podcast listeners and creeps get 10% off their first month of online therapy at BetterHelp.com/Sunny.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Sunny.
You might notice this in that scene where Dennis arrives to take part in the competition. There is a man standing near the sort of pole in the bar, and he has a couple lines, and then he basically asks about how much money they're getting paid, and then leaves. And you guys pointed out that he recurs.
That is the guy. Yeah, that's the guy in
PTSD.
PTSD.
Season 12.
Yeah. So as I recall at the time that we cast that guy, well, he gave a great audition. So we were like, oh, we really want this guy. And I think we realized, we're like, oh, he's already been in an episode. He might have even said it. I think something makes me think maybe he even said, I've already done one or something, but
I think this makes sense.
I think this makes sense. And we were like, yeah, it totally makes sense. Like there's a million bars in Philly.
Yeah.
You know, he had this one experience where he tried to do a Billboard thing or whatever.
Plenty of people have done multiple episodes, and some people have done multiple characters.
Yeah. But in my mind, he's playing the same character.
Same guy,
he just doesn't remember that he's been there.
And became a stripper.
Yeah.
Well, he's making money from the stripping, so that makes sense. It's consistent with his character.
Yeah, exactly.
He shows up when money is being made. Yeah.
Carter McIntyre.
He's really good.
He's great. He's great in that little bit that he does in this episode.
Yeah, and also cameoing is one of your actual cameras in this.
Yes, that's what we
episode.
shot the actual series on, the DVX 100A.
The camera that
That was
Charlie
not
is
the A.
using.
Was it the B?
I think that was the B.
We were on the
DVX 100B.
I think we were on the B.
Yeah, so when I throw the volleyball in Caitlin's face, when she's crazy Paddy, the camera that we're filming her with is the same exact cameras that we filmed the show on. And if they don't look like giant, expensive cameras, it's because they're not.
Standard definition 4.3 for 3.
This is the
aspect ratio.
This was the last season that we did in 4.3.
Yeah.
Season 5 we did in 16:9, but still refused to go HD.
I'm pointing at Charlie right now.
Oh yeah, because I didn't want to switch to HD.
Season 6 we went HD, although we got probably the cheapest HD cameras you could possibly get. Possibly because we didn't. Actually, I think that was the thought was we don't want it to look too drastically different, but we know we need to step into the modern era by going HD, because every TV was becoming HD then. So it was like, wow, this is going to really, really start to look different and even worse than it did before.
Pretty soon, everyone's going to have a contraption on their television that makes all television look awful. So we need to go ahead and
get into that.
Make sure that it can look as awful as possible.
That's right. That's right.
I don't understand how people can't see it. They can't see it.
I was just
90% of the population does not know that they're watching Automotion Plus.
I was renting
90%.
a house in Rhode Island. They had that on their TV, and I couldn't. There was no remote for the TV. There was a remote for just.
You could control the whole system, but you didn't have the actual television remote
to get into that motherfucking television. Yeah. It's happened to me a couple times where I've not figured out how to turn it off.
But they must do focus groups on that. My guess is that because otherwise, why would Sony or whoever's ever building the TV
focus groups for all sorts of things? I think when it comes to a story, maybe not so much, but for whether or not television looks like absolute shit.
No, but I mean, there's a reason why Sony is refused. They could very easily just get rid of that feature because they know everybody in Hollywood hates it because it's ruining their movies and TV shows.
Default setting. That's my thing.
I know, but my point is that they must be using a data point to drive that decision, to say people actually like this. They want it on their televisions.
People like soap operas, and that's what it makes everything look like.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Popular.
People must prefer it. Otherwise, I don't know why they would make it as the default setting. It doesn't make any sense.
No, I don't think we do things just because people prefer it. It's like...
You think there's something else going on?
Yeah. I think it's too expensive for them to now go figure out. Like somebody came up with a technology that people were like, oh wow, yeah. When you watch a baseball game, it is going to look, like you're there
good for that.
and on the field, right? Or you play a video game or something, and then someone was like, oh, but it's ruining everything else, and they're like, yeah, but we already did it. It's going to be really expensive and time consuming to figure out how to make other stuff look good. Can't we just ruin everything so people can watch the football game?
But they make a brand new TV every 6 weeks.
But they don't break through with technology every 6 weeks. So I mean,
they're making the TV smaller and thinner.
I don't know. It's so bad. It's just so upsetting.
Really frustrating.
Yeah.
Just go into your settings and turn off Auto Motion Plus.
I've got a TV in my house where I have been through all the sets of TV that I got a year ago.
Yes.
And
it's you turned everything off and there's still a hint of it. I have that too.
It's still there.
I turned every fucking setting off on that television that there is to turn off.
And I've used it too much now to I can't. There's no
going back.
There's no going back.
You'll have to go into one of the 6 or 7 other rooms in your house that has a TV. And watch
Well,
it.
that's the problem, right?
Yeah,
because
it's
I'm like,
I can't. Which room am I gonna go into?
Where am I gonna? Which room has the best TV with the least?
Because that's what I'm gonna spend.
You know, we're
my
going
time.
the wrong direction. Where if you're on an airplane and you're watching on the screen on the back of the seat, that screen, it looks better than your TV at home.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like that's we've fucked up. We
didn't fuck up. They fucked up.
They fucked it up.
They've gone too far.
They've gone too far. They've ruined television.
By the way, I finally saw Top Gun Maverick.
Oh.
Okay, here we go.
I loved it.
But you know why? Because you have a pulse.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yes. Yes.
I loved it.
Yes.
I think the whole movie, I was like, just like
Yes.
from start to finish.
Yeah.
Like the second it starts and they put that Top Gun song in,
Yeah.
they're like, dong.
Gives you everything you need.
Now imagine a year from now, you're getting to watch that at home for the first time, and you're like, "Huh? Why'd they make it look like it's all just like fake CGI and bad?" Well, they didn't.
They didn't.
Your
They
TV
didn't.
is ruining it.
Sony did.
Sony did.
Panasonic did.
So does that mean you guys want me to stop publishing the podcast with AutoMotion Plus on it? 'Cause I
God damn it.
God damn it.
we might have beaten Joe Rogan if I hadn't done that.
I think
Sorry.
Well, I
every
don't think laptops have it, right? So if someone is watching this on their laptop or on their phone,
laptop's still okay for now.
for now,
what everybody's
somebody's
watching
going to do it.
anyway.
I bet you there's some fucking PC company that's already done it. They're like, we got the ruining now. We have the ruining technology. We just installed it.
Got it.
We got it. We figured it
We
out.
can ruin movies on all your devices.
We figured out how to ruin the movie experience on all your devices.
Yeah.
Yeah. God bless, huh?